My name is Dylan K. Sladkey.
Celeste Towers.
Greg.
My name is Serenity.
Leah.
When I was growing up, now this is kind of funny. When I was growing up, I originally wanted to be a hairdresser. And my mother was dead set against it. She says, no, 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 no. And I think she thought I was going to be gay. Little did she know that I'd turn out to be a professional female impersonator years later.
Boy, I don't know. I think I thought I would be married and have kids and have a job that was like a normal job. Like I would probably be like a doctor. I always thought I would grow up and be a doctor and probably be married to a man, and it would be very different than it is.
Life threw a lot of curveballs. Like, it's different than I expected. The one I did when I was in my 20s, and I told my family, it was more that, like, oh, by the way, I'm bringing a chick to Thanksgiving. And my aunt was like, oh, okay, see you there. Like, bring a pie. That was it, you know.
But no, I did not feel safe. I mean, I lived my life in fear every day. I was beat up in school, shoved in lockers, you know, the whole, everything that typical you'd, you know, hear about or see about, you know, beat up all the time. And
in my late teens, I became very, very depressed. I think primarily because of my sexual orientation, and at that time it was a real conflict with my religious upbringing.
so in the course of 1 year living in Utah, I was once again fired from my job for being gay. I had a roommate that was in a bad situation. I was burglarized, broken into, and the final crowning point of it all was, it was 4th of July, and I went for a late night bike ride and went into a park and parked my bike and was hiking along, you know, and was back then, I don't know what they call it now, but basically I was fag bashed, as we used to call it. And I was attacked and beat up and left for dead in the park.
I had a very blessed young gay childhood, if you will. And honestly, the only times that I ever really felt it were, you know, kids at school. Even though it was the art school, there were a couple of guys who weren't too hip with the idea of a new gay kid. And I mean, I had one guy tell me that I was pretending to be gay because I was hitting on his girlfriend, and I was secretly, you know, trying to get at that, which is hilarious.
I don't know. I'm thankful I made it through, because I think there was a time in the early part of this, in my late teens, and I really did think about killing myself.
I had a psychotic break in around 2010, and it was, I have a mental illness, and I've sort of had it my whole life, but it became really bad. and it took a while to figure it out, and I really didn't know if I would live through it, but with the help of a couple of good friends and my partner, was able to come out of a really, really dark place.
And without trying to sound morbid, the good thing about it was that I was knocked unconscious and have no memory of it, other than when I came to and I was all covered in blood and everything. And somehow, you know, the body reacts in strange ways when it's in shock and whatever. Somehow I managed to walk a mile out of the park, get on my bicycle, ride 2 blocks or 8 blocks to my old roommate's house. For some reason I think I was going to my house, and I ended up waking up on his neighbor's doorstep, and they found me and took me to the emergency room, and about 18 stitches to my head and a fractured nose and broken jaw and all this. Later, the emergency room doctor told me that I was very lucky to be alive, and he said I was about the, I think he said I was about the 2nd or 3rd victim they'd seen just that month. And 2 weeks later, there was 2 people that were murdered. The best advice that I could give somebody would be that even though you feel like you're the only one and that you have no other options and nowhere to turn to, there's always somebody out there who there's a shoulder to cry on, there's a support group.
I'm going to do something very gay and quote one of my role models, RuPaul. You all know who she is. Fabulous, fabulous queen. She once said, as gay people, we have the ability to pick our families. So pick your family. Find people that you can trust. Find people that you can express yourself around. Find people that, you know, even though you might not be able to be or feel like yourself at home, find that group of people where you can feel and be yourself.
It hurts a lot until you start finding that support, which helps you realize that you are fundamentally okay and you have value and worth as the person you are right now.
Keep fighting. It kind of feels like you've fallen in a hole and you can't get out. I promise you there's a ladder somewhere. This is not the way that things will be the rest of your life. You won't live today the same as you will tomorrow. And as long as you keep fighting, it'll get better. And I know that it's cliche now with the it gets better, but there's truth to it. Life moves forward and tends to go in an upward arc, and it's worth the fight. Life can bring such beautiful experiences, and they are so worth fighting for.
Hang in there, it gets better. You're gonna make it through, and it gets better, and you are okay who you are, and you are loved by a larger community, and we accept you for who you are, and it gets better. Love yourself, walk through this world, and be proud of who you are.